The purpose of this assignment is to give you the opportunity to present a persuasive speech of action. Most of you already have that bill that you submitted to me, and you did your thesis statement. I made the comment to you about your thesis statement, whether it was done correctly. If it says good, then fine, you're good to go. If it was not done correctly, remember the bill is talking about a problem that needs to be fixed. The bill cannot be passed, because if the bill is passed, it is a law. If you have not done it already, then you need to go to the New York State Assembly bill search on the YouTube link. It shows you the video showing you how to navigate that site for you to find the bill that you're looking for. There are no makeups for this presentation. It comes at the end of the semester. If you miss it, what will happen, and you have a valid documented reason for missing it, you'll get an incomplete, and then you can complete the work next the following semester. If you don't have a valid reason for missing it, you will receive a 0, because, again, we're at the end of the semester and the class is going to be ending in the next week or so. Same like your other presentation: introduction, 5 parts: introduction, attention getter, thesis, reason to listen statement, credibility statement, preview statement. In this case, your credibility statement is come from a reference. It's going to come from a source. The body of the speech is going to organize with 3 main points. Make sure you have your transition from the first main point into the second main point, and your transition from the second main point into the third main point. The speech is going to be organized in a problem solution pattern. So pay close attention to this. Make sure that you understand this. I'll go more in depth after I talk to you about it. But the way in which your 3 main points of the body is going to be: first point, we'll be talking about causes or extent. Second point, we're going to talk about the effects of the problem. And the last point is going to talk about the solutions to the problem. So you have the 3 points: either causes or extent, not both, effects and solutions. And I'll go through them a little bit further when we talk about them in depth. For this presentation, you have to have examples of the effects. You must also have short-term solutions, and we'll talk about what a short-term solution is, and 5 credible references. So we know we already have 1 in your introduction. Then you need to have 4 more somewhere else in your presentation. Conclusion, just like we did before: summary statement, reinforcement statement, and closing statement. Also, remember the rules for your introduction when you're constructing it, and also when you're delivering the introduction and the conclusion. Within the speech, you have to state the 5 credible sources: the author, the title, and the date. So you have to state them, because if you don't state it, it is plagiarizing. That means you plagiarize the information. You want to make sure that you state your references, where you got your information from, to back up your claims and what you're saying. The reference cannot be older. We shouldn't be talking about 1977. We're talking about a current problem that's happening today. And that's why I like these bills, because all of these bills are dealing with things that are happening right now in New York State. And again, if they pass, they become laws in New York State that you must abide by. No more than 20% of your speech should be direct quotation. Line will be submitted to Blackboard and it will be graded. It will go through a plagiarizing checkpoint to check, and it will give me a percentage of how much of your speech is taken from somewhere else. When you're delivering your presentation, we talked about this before: eye contact with the audience, vocal variety, proper gestures, proper natural gestures, and of course, energy, energy, energy. It is a persuasive presentation, so you have to pull out all of the stops for this presentation. You deliver the speech extemporaneously. Outline will be on a cell phone or a tablet. So you should have a cell phone or a tablet, a small tablet, in your hand as you deliver the presentation. You just need to know the information, and know the information well. You are not memorizing the speech. Let's get to outlines now. So as far as your outline is concerned, everyone will submit the outline on. You're submitting your outline onto Blackboard, you're uploading it and submit it to Blackboard. By now, all of the issues and the problems should already be eliminated. All the issues should have been taken care of. If for some reason you're having issues with Blackboard still, you need to get to the IT department. If you miss the submission of your outline, you will receive a 0 for the assignment, because again, there's no way to make up the assignment, because it has to go through the plagiarizing check. So this way, to make sure that you're not plagiarizing the speech. Therefore, you forfeit 30% of your final grade. Presentation, it's going to be business attire. So whether it's a pantsuit or a dress or skirt, it needs to be professional business attire. You need to look professional as you deliver your presentation. Stay within the time limits. You will be penalized for going over and beyond the time. You will have a zero if you miss your assigned scheduled date. Let's get into looking at the structure of the speech. First part of the speech is dealing with either the causes or the extent of the problem. If we look on page 19, you will see in the body, it says the causes of aggressive driving. That's the first part where you list the causes and you explain the causes. So it's a simple outline. What's one of the causes of aggressive driving? Discourteous driving behavior. Now, if when you do your research, you're finding a lot of statistics about what is going on, that means that you're dealing with the extent of the problems, trying to show us how great the problem is. Either the causes you're going to talk about or extent. I can't tell you which one you're going to use. Your research will tell you which one is available for you to put in your body of your speech. After you finish the causes, the second point will address the effects of the problem. Now that you told me something's happening, now you need to explain to me and show me that it's actually happening. What are some of the ramifications? What are some of the consequences because this problem is existing right now? Aggressive driving can lead to dangerous consequences. One of the first things that they presented was the fact some statistics that talks about how it kills. And then now you see the example of on October 24th, Washington Post tells a story about Arthur Lloyd to tell us the story in your presentation of something that actually happened because this problem is existing. And you need at least 3 of them in your presentation. And last but not least, your third part of the body is going to deal with solutions. So if you flip over to page 20, you'll see that the third part is telling us the solutions to deal with aggressive driving. And with your solutions, there are going to be 2 types of solutions. The first type is going to be a long-term solution. And reason why we say it's long-term, because it's going to take a while for that solution to remove the problem from society. The long-term solution comes in the form of a bill or a policy, and you already have your bill. This is when you tell us that we need to support this bill and we need to vote for this bill, and you explain the bill for us. So if you look at page 20, you will see the E point says petition your elective official to enact bill A blah blah blah, making aggressive driving a specific offense. And then they explain what the offense would be for people who are aggressively driving in New York State. If you have not got the bill, New York State Assembly bill search, that's where you'll get the information from. Make sure that the bill is not passed, because if the bill is passed, it is a law already, and you cannot persuade us to vote the law in because it's already a law, right? So you need something. The reason why it's a bill is because it's proposing that we make this a law in New York State. Your short-term solution, on the other hand, these are solutions that can be implemented immediately. So if I'm faced with the problem right now, how can I fix this problem? You'll find it by doing research. And if you look again on page 20, you'll see that be a courteous driver, control your reaction. So if you're faced with a situation, control your reaction, leave early. Before reacting, ask yourself, is it worth being fined, jailed, or in prison? And you need at least 3 of them. You need at least 3 short-term solutions to match up what you are talking about. Start as soon as possible. Don't wait till the last minute. Get going. You should have already at least gotten your research since you had the bill already. Appeal to the audience emotion. This is a persuasive speech, and we'll talk about that. Look at the audience. You want to make sure that you're also explaining the bill properly. Do not read the information. You're presenting the speech, so you want to make sure that you have eye contact with the audience. Here's some checklists for yourself of the things that we need to check to make sure that you did them. Number 1, did you have at least examples of the effects? The other thing is, did I have at least 5 references? Did I check them off and not the same reference repeated 5 times, 5 different references? Because I look at it this way: you have 1 for your credibility statement, right? You probably have 3, 1, 2, 3, for each of your examples, and then you need just 1 more. And of course, did I have at least 3 short-term solutions? And I said you could either get your short-term solutions from research, might be another place where you have a reference. And also your bill, you could reference your bill, that could be a reference too. The outline, the Blackboard by 11:50, 10:50 p.m. Also make sure you use personal pronouns like we, us, ours. This is a persuasive speech. You have to connect with your audience. A lot of energy, a lot of vocal variety, persuasive language to talk to the audience. Your goal is to get to their emotions, and you want to make sure you're using some of your persuasive appeals. And I'll talk to you about that as we continue. Your last You Are Empowered quotation for this segment